Oh, it's so hot. Hello, good evening, Earthlings, fellow Earthlings, or good morning, good day, wherever you are. We're uploading quite a few videos at the moment because it's the Jubilee. I know the Jubilee weekend's finished, but it'll continue in Gibraltar, and obviously we've got Sophie and Edward coming. I'll just check I've got a green light. Yes, I have. This is like take 5 on this one. It's not normally like this. They're being quite coy in Gibraltar for security reasons. We don't know exactly where Sophie and Edward are going to go, but Gib's not very big. I'm sure we'll manage to track them down. I haven't had a reply from the Chief Minister, Fabian Picardo, yet about the invitation to take them out to see the dolphins, but he is with the Pope, so I'll let him off that one. Our Chief Minister is so young, and he really reminds me of my nephew Timmy, who hates being called Timmy now because he's about 6'2". He's a big chap, and I think he's 25 years old, and he really wishes I wouldn't call him Timmy anymore. It's Tim, but he'll always be Timmy to me. And our Chief Minister, he's the dead ringer of Tim. I see puff pieces have started already, so there's no flies on her, is there? Unless her PR people are just they're geared up and they're trying to soothe it because their mistress will be quite angry. Yeah, puff piece. Meghan's just a strong woman of colour, and that's why people don't like her. So that's the direction it's going in already. We're all going to be labelled racists. It won't be that people booed because they don't like the behaviour, they don't like the conduct. As Lady C says, it is her conduct. Speaking of Lady C, watch one of her latest videos today. Absolutely brilliant. I've had quite a few comments from people saying it's not just mainstream media, it's not just Twitter, it's not just social media. They've noticed only one or two, but a few YouTubers who I wouldn't name, I wouldn't diss them, but some people are having their doubts as to why some YouTubers may phrase things in a certain way. I mean, that's their channel. It's up to them if they want to do it. I know what people mean. I know what they're talking about, but I feel that Lady C is the gold standard. For me, she's like a fine wine or putting on a long classical record. So I like to be at home alone and getting on with something and listening to her go into one. And it was a very, very good video that she did today. Oh, I think it's yesterday's video. Really good. Really enjoyed that. Couldn't agree more with her. Don't always agree with Lady C, but as she herself says, it's okay for people to disagree and agree as long as it's put politely or in a reasonable manner. And sometimes people do change their mind. So yeah, puff pieces, they're going to come thick and fast. But I'll come back to the dastardly duo in a minute. This Yahoo puff piece is like role models. Meghan is a strong woman of colour. She's going to be a role model. Well, firstly, I don't think that being a role model requires a certain level of responsibility. And if a role model is there and teenagers and younger people are looking up to them, I just don't think that sort of responsibility should be in her hands. What would she say? How to dump your father, how to step on people, use them as stepping stones, how to climb greasy poles. I'm sorry, that's how I feel about her. Some people think that she's not unpleasant because she's attractive. I saw a lot of comments like that. Oh, I think she's beautiful, therefore she's a nice person. Well, that's got to be a younger, more inexperienced voice saying something like that, because some people have nice packaging, but they're not nice on the inside. Some people have nice packaging and are nice on the inside. Some of us aren't lucky enough to have nice packaging, and hopefully we're all right on the inside, but we're all different. Why do they have to create yet another pigeonhole, yet another box for a strong woman of colour? Surely Michelle Obama is sufficient. Oprah Winfrey, up until she did the interview, she was someone that I looked up to. In the UK, we have a lady called Trisha Goddard. She's quite spiky. She's not everyone's cup of tea, but she's very strong, very outspoken. I used to love watching the Trisha show, partly because she can be a bit spiky. And I think I remember going about an ex-husband. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong on that one. And she really didn't like her ex-husband. And oh boy, she loved to mention that all the time, which I thought was quite funny. There are lots of strong characters, and they're not just women of colour. One of my heroes when I was a kid was Diana Rigg, Emma Peel. Graham's was Clint Eastwood. Who was your hero? Who influenced you when you were a teenager? Because I think it's when you're a teenager, really, that that you're looking for some sort of guidance or to fit in somewhere in the grand scale of things. So I'd love to know from all of you in the comments section, who was your hero that you looked up to? Also, another hero of mine was Michael Caine, The Italian Job. Speaking of which, this is a completely different subject, but it's just come to me. There's an actress called Natasha McClone, and she used to be called Natasha Taylor. I went to school with her. We were in the same class. And she's going to be in The Crown. She's going to play something like Lady Mountbatten, I think, who was big friends with Prince Philip. Anyway, Natasha's already, I've seen, getting heat about starring in The Crown. I haven't been in touch with her since we were at school, and we weren't particularly pally. But I do distinctly remember one day we were in maths class with Mr. Liddell, and he asked every single person in the class what they wanted to be when they grew up. And everyone came out with very sensible things like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a chemist, and things like that. One girl said she wanted to be an air hostess, and everybody laughed at her, which I thought was very cruel, because there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a fantastic career. And Natasha said, I'd like to be a Hollywood actress, and I'd like to star in a film with Robert De Niro or Anthony Hopkins. Well, the whole classroom burst out laughing, except for me, and I just thought, wow, what a brilliant career. And guess what? She did. She starred in a film called, I think it was Picasso, with Anthony Hopkins, and she was in Ronin with Robert De Niro. And now she's going to be in The Crown. And she was in a big Netflix thing called Survivor, Designated Survivor. So I'm really proud of Natasha, and I remember that she said that. And we would have been about 13 years old at the time. Me, I said I wanted to be a safecracker or a diamond thief. So make what you will of that, considering the route my life took. I think Natasha and I probably did quite well out of envisaging how we were going to go. Right, so that's role models. Oh, role models, my kids. My Sammy absolutely loved the Bratz dolls. They sort of have oversized heads, very glamorous, glitzy, lots of bling. And I used to love watching the Bratz with her, and they had representation of women of colour, of all the societies that they could. Another hero when I was a kid, and I was a kid, not my kids, was Ironside. He was a guy in a wheelchair, and he didn't come much cooler than Ironside. He was fabulous. And another character that my kids really liked was Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon. And Hiccup was an amputee. So heroes come in all shapes, sizes. They're all different. Why do we need a specific pretty package woman of colour who's strong, you know? And she really, in my opinion, she's not that at all. Now, the reason this is a bit of a dark video is because, yes, it is brilliant that everybody booed. It is. God bless you, because the way I see it, and this is my opinion, Meghan took Harry away, isolated him from his family. Obviously, she's kept her family away. He's not allowed, doesn't look to me to be allowed to hang out with his old mates. And when you become isolated, well, you're really vulnerable. And that's how I see it. Even his mother said that. If you look at the very first video I uploaded on this, I used a bit of Diana's voice from the Panorama interview, and I used the bit where Meghan was going on about being the little mermaid and losing my voice, and I don't know, and no one can shut her up, and all that, with Harry sitting in the chicken shit, literally, just looking like a broken man. And Diana said, if you can isolate a personality, you can very easily dismantle it. And that's how I see the situation. So the boos, I'm hoping, cut through like a slap around the face for Harry from his extended family, the British public and the Commonwealth public, and any other nationalities that were good enough to boo. Now he's bound to be sitting, and he's really thinking. I know a lot of people have laughed at the thought of Harry having thoughts and, you know, one brain cell wearing the other out and all that. But all jokes aside, he will be now sitting there and thinking, Netflix isn't going to want to know. They don't want B-list royals. He could have money troubles. He can't go back to his family. And I see him as being enormously vulnerable, more vulnerable than ever right now. And it could turn into an explosive situation. Anyone who has had a real narcissist in their life, a narcissistic temper tantrum can be a dangerous thing. And Harry himself may feel well, he may feel so dark and low, he might even resort to doing something unthinkable. So I just wanted to point that out to everybody, that he might be in a very, very bad place. And if he himself watches this, because I do believe they watch these videos, Harry, grab those kids. I think they exist. Maybe I'm wrong. If they do exist, grab the kids and get away from her. Go to Botswana. Go back to the UK. Go to the Cotswolds. Go somewhere under the radar, but give yourself some headspace. Get away from her, because I can see it's a matter of time, and I hope I'm wrong, that I think something tragic might happen, and nobody wants to see the story end that way. It's good that the boos have cut through, and I'm certain they have. And I hope Prince William, I saw Graham's video earlier, I think he's right. Hello. And I hope Prince William is keeping an eye on the situation from afar so he can pull him out very quickly, because the last thing Harry needs is to be sectioned in a foreign country, in America. She's American, he's not American. It's her turf. That's, you know, being sectioned or doing something even worse, or flicking out. I hope that William is keeping an eye on the situation through MI6 and by proxy through the CIA, and they can listen to their telephone calls, and they can just watch and monitor, because I think at this moment in Harry's life, I believe he's never been in more danger. So keep that in mind when commenting just generally around, and keep your eye on the ball, everybody, and let's hope it doesn't turn out to be the case. Isn't that right, Kitty? You got anything to say? No. She actually threw up. She ate the cat food the boys left over, because they got stuff she doesn't normally eat. And you puked all over my carpet, didn't you? Anyway, that's all from Gibraltar.